Hi, thank you for watching Jason Adam TV on YouTube. If you haven't, please click subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and leave comments in the comment section below. Okay, today's topic is about China's recent crackdown on effeminate men. I was reading an article in Time magazine, and in the article he talks about this recent crackdown on effeminate men in the entertainment industry. In the article, he says, last week, the Chinese authorities banned effeminate men from appearing on TV and instructed broadcasters to promote revolutionary culture. Concerned that young Chinese men are overly influenced by androgynous pop stars, the authorities are cracking down on what it calls a chaotic celebrity fan culture and want broadcasters to resolutely put an end to sissy men and other abnormal aesthetics. The article goes on to state that 2 years ago, China's censors began to blur earrings and colored hair on male celebrities appearing on television. Earlier this year, the Education Ministry announced a plan to cultivate masculinity in schoolboys, including hiring more gym teachers and promoting sports. This plan came on the heels of a warning from top political advisor, a national masculinity crisis, as Chinese boys have been spoiled by housewives and female teachers. Those are the words of the political advisor in China. This trend of feminization of Chinese boys, already pampered a lot thanks to the one-child policy, threatens China's survival and development, so it believes. Chinese educators have been worried about the social impact and the paucity of male teachers in lower grades, depriving young boys of male role models. Gender-neutral evaluation standards are also seen as a problem, as they do not suitably reward physical activity. The article goes on to say that sissy male stars add an extra layer to the masculinity crisis at a time when President Xi Jinping has been calling for national rejuvenation. The fandom associated with dainty male stars, ruse, means that young boys do not want to be soldiers or firefighters anymore. A top Chinese government think tank even believes that this star-induced feminization is part of a wider CIA operation to emasculate Asian men. The Chinese Academy of Social Sciences accuses legendary star makers of working with the CIA to degrade Japanese masculinity, leading to the profusion of grass eaters or herbivorous boys in Japanese society. According to this belief, herbivorous men do not actively seek employment, sex, or romantic relationships, and are considered feminine with their porcelain complexions and attention to clothing and makeup, and are often blamed for Japan's economic decline and plunging birth rates. China has for some years now been concerned about the social impact of its androgynous male celebrities called Xiaoxian, Ro, or Little Fresh Meat. They are apparently inspired by the herbivorous stars of Japanese and Korean pop. The recent movement of tamping, or lying flat, in which young Chinese professionals have been renouncing the competition and hardships of modern life, has only added to the worries about decadence. The gist of the article is that China is worried that these so-called effeminate men will be a bad influence on the boys and the men in China. So I have a problem with this. This is astoundingly ignorant, because effeminacy is totally a social concept. Basically, it's taken to mean that it's used to describe men that have feminine characteristics. But this could include a wide range of men, even the metrosexual, the man who is more concerned about his hair and appearance than men traditionally were in the past. So this idea that effeminate men are going to somehow bring down society is completely ludicrous. Gay men do not, or a significant proportion of gay men do not show effeminacy. In past times, effeminacy was connected with homosexuality simply because they were the easiest gay men to spot in society. The gay men who could act straight generally did so in order to escape the wrath of society. So a lot of effeminate men are not even gay, or so-called effeminate men. So I'm questioning, the logic of this line of reasoning that somehow effeminate men are going to cause boys and men in China to become more like women. And also, why is that a bad thing? That is another problem I have with labeling people as being effeminate or sissy, and that is that it degrades women. When you somehow imply that having feminine characteristics is a negative, then you are degrading women and you are ignoring their contribution to society. So I do have a big problem with this. China's bans have also affected LGBT people in addition to effeminate people, effeminate males. In another article that I read, it's in the Advocate magazine, and the title is Chinese Bans Effeminate Sissy Men from Television Broadcasts. So in this article, the country's moves against effeminate men in society follows other actions that the country has taken to scare LGBTQ plus citizens. Over the summer, the Chinese messaging app WeChat began blocking the accounts of LGBTQ plus college groups. Shanghai University also started collecting the names of LGBTQ students, reported the Washington Post. Recently, the 2022 Gay Games, which will be held in Hong Kong, have been criticized by lawmakers who often side with mainland China. The Post noted that Beijing has sometimes used LGBTQ rights as a proxy for foreign influence. So China is also taking a hardline stance on LGBTQ people. So this points to, again, paranoia that, effeminate men and LGBTQ plus people will somehow lead to the decline of Chinese society. And while this tenet, this idea, has manifested in Western society in the past, you kind of have to understand Chinese society to understand their view of LGBTQ plus issues. And one thing I've noticed from my years of living in Taiwan is most Chinese people do not care if an outsider of the family is LGBTQ plus. They think it's none of their business, and they don't have any comments. They kind of have a live and let live attitude when it comes to outsiders. However, inside the family is a totally different story. And traditionally, Chinese young people are expected to get married and have a family and take care of their parents in their elderly age. It's the concept of familial piety. And so Chinese parents are afraid of having an LGBTQ plus child. And I think a lot of that stems from the fact that they think if they have an LGBTQ plus child, their child will not raise a family and will not be able to take care of them in their elderly age. So there's an unspoken fear of LGBTQ in Chinese society, but it has more to do with the family than it does with outsiders. So it's interesting that the Chinese government is expanding this paranoia, this fear of a negative impact of LGBTQ people to every citizen in the country. And it's sad for the LGBTQ plus and effeminate males in Chinese society, because their lives will become a lot harder from now on. And like I said, this idea has no foundation in logic. I think it is a fear of upsetting the social order, the traditions that have been passed down for generations. So China is facing a population crisis. If you can call having over 1 billion people, 1.17, I think, billion people, a population crisis. But the Chinese population is on the decline. In fact, India was set to overtake China in population by 2027. Some people are saying that India will have more people than China as soon as next year. And this is common occurrence in post-industrial and industrialized countries. That is, as the people become more wealthy and more well-educated, they tend to have fewer children. And this is a universal phenomenon. It happens around the world. So this could be fueling the paranoia regarding sissy men or effeminate men in Chinese society, and also the pushback against LGBTQ plus people in China. It could be a misguided attempt to encourage people to have more children. But what this ignores is that LGBTQ plus people make up a small percentage of the population. And educated people, well-educated people, tend to have fewer children anyway. So cracking down on effeminate men and LGBTQ plus people is not going to influence the population rate in China. So it's mind-boggling how stupid this crackdown is. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. Thank you for watching Jason Adam TV. Bye-bye.